Joining us now, House Intelligence Ranking Member. He is Congressman Rick Crawford and Fox News contributor. He's a great writer. Here's Joe Concha. First to you, Congressman, your reaction to the president's presser. We now have 13 soldiers dead, president being called out of touch, unemotional, a catastrophic presser. Your reaction?
It's stunning to see him conduct himself the way he does. But what's even more stunning is that people continue to send him out there to be the face of our nation. I could call for his resignation, and it would be meaningless. I think it's time that Democrats come to the realization that they need to call for his resignation because he is clearly not up to the job. He lacks the mental acuity. I don't think he really fully understands the gravity of this situation.
What do you say, Joe?
I say I watched this press conference and I understand the congressman's frustration here. The president starts off this way, quote, "They gave me a list here. The first person I was instructed to call on is," wait, who's they? Why are you even sharing you're being instructed by your handlers? It looks weak. And Biden again says he takes responsibility and then again blames his predecessor in Donald Trump. And again, Joe Biden wasn't beholden to this deal because he's in charge now. Think of Keystone Pipeline. Think of Remain in Mexico policy. He isn't beholden to what Donald Trump did. He could have done whatever he wanted to here. And look, the two big keys that I wish reporters were pressing him on more is why did you ultimately close the air base and do evacuations from there instead of a commercial airport? And why didn't you get Americans out sooner? And why didn't you do this in the winter when the Taliban retreats to its bases in Pakistan? So look, we have a very difficult situation here, difficult, the understatement of the era, I should say, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better, if it gets better, Elizabeth, because you have the Taliban, ISIS, all these bad actors, and Americans still behind enemy lines with no real plan to get everybody out like the president is promising.
We're seeing a historic plunge in the president's approval ratings. Congressman George Will is saying he's never seen a fast contraction like this since Herbert Hoover. D.C. media and insiders say also that Pelosi is out of touch, too, for talking about vote reform and equity today in an historic day, when 13 of our soldiers are now dead. Their families are in mourning, the worst loss of life for our troops in about a decade. Your reaction?
Well, I think we should return to D.C. immediately and start to do whatever we can to support Americans that are trapped in Afghanistan and whatever legislative action is necessary.
But she's not calling you back to. But the speaker.
Exactly.
Sorry, the speaker's not calling you back, right?
I know, and if she refuses to do that, she needs to step aside and let somebody else lead, because this is essential right now that we be projecting strength in the world, and we're not getting that from the president, and we're not getting that from the Speaker of the House. So I would ask that she resign and let somebody else lead that wants to.
You know, 5 dozen terror attacks last year and this year, Joe. Your point about Bagram Air Force Base is well taken, because England is asking about that. The UK, NATO members are saying, why did you unilaterally decide not to use that when you were now shredding evacuation hopes for our citizens? We're taking our troops out. You put them in harm's way. You stuck to this artificial deadline when you didn't have to. And when you do things like that, that creates chaos. Your reaction, Joe?
Well, that's precisely right. And then you see the White House press secretary and Jen Psaki now claim that we have, quote, an enormous amount of leverage over the Taliban economically. That is our view. Do you really think the Taliban that now has access to billions in U.S. military equipment they could sell to the Chinese, the Russians use themselves, they have access to the former government's accounts, really care about sanctions from the Biden administration when they're basically living in the 7th century already? And look, overall, for this administration, that precipitous drop that George Will talked about, it's not just Afghanistan. Yeah, that really fueled it. But remember, we still have inflation fears. We still have a border that is anything but secure. We still have skyrocketing crime in our cities. We still have an education system going sideways with critical race theory. You add up all these things, we're now in a more expensive country to live in, a less safe country to live in terms of crime here at home and potentially terrorism from abroad. Nothing is going right for this administration. It's hard to believe we're only 7 months in, Elizabeth.
You know, Congressman, the fact that Nancy Pelosi has not called you back into session means you're not getting briefings. It's like you guys are kept in the dark, too, right?
True.
Well, that's exactly right. And I think that's why she doesn't call us, and she doesn't want us to have that information. It doesn't do her any good for us to be doing interviews with with news outlets and communicating on a larger scale in an amplified way. So I think she's doing this deliberately. But again, it's a reflection of her poor leadership. And what does that say to the rest of the world that's looking on as we see American citizens stranded in Afghanistan and we're not lifting a finger to help?
Okay. Congressman Rick Crawford, Joe Concha, you guys were terrific. Joe, guys, we'll have you back on again